Hey guys, it's Stefano, the leader of PG Inc. And today I'm gonna read some creepypastas. Yep, for real this time, solo, or possibly with a YouTuber. Who knows? Depends. But anyways, let's get going. All right, there we go. Hold this. What the? There's just me. All right. Let's just get going, alright? I don't want any trouble or anything. So, let's choose several games. You know, the same or usual. But, yeah, let's see. Which one do you want to pick? Let me just see, hold on. Which one do you guys want to pick? Alright. I'm just gonna. So first of all, I'm gonna choose something standard. The fuck is this? Manhunt Beta 1999. Alright. I'm gonna read the Manhunt Beta 1999. I didn't see some YouTubers read this one, and I don't know. Let's hold on, remove this piece of shit. Okay, alright, let's get to it. A lot of people know of the infamous video game Manhunt, released in 2003. It was highly controversial for the amount of gore and violence in it, and was banned in many places. It was later followed by an even more controversial sequel in 2007. What a lot of people do not know of is the beta version of the game from 1999, the year production on the game began. Rockstar Games was just started working on GTA 3 or Grand Theft Auto 3, but had in mind another game, which at the time was called Blood Dance, a cheesy title which would later in production be renamed to Manhunt. A few years back, I worked at a GameStop a few minutes away from my apartment. I was really into video games and owned a lot of systems. One day I was stacking some new games on the shelves when I came across a CD case with a simple label on it with Blood Dance Beta 1999. I didn't know where it had come from, so I ended up bringing it home with me later that day. When I got home, I decided to check out what the disc was. I put the disc into my computer. It was the PC version of the game, and it loaded up. The opening looked a lot like the original opening, with the various gang members being shown. At the end of the opening credits, the title showed the original. However, instead of the white Manhunt logo, it was replaced by a red Blood Dance logo. This is where I knew right away that it was the Manhunt beta. The main menu came up. It looked completely different from the final version of the game. Instead of the original menu, it was just a simple menu with new game options or quit. I picked new game and it started out with a cutscene inside of a hospital with a camera-like static. It then panned over to a dark hallway with a beta version of Pixie, chainsaw in a hand, walking down. Slouching? Tell me what slouching is in the comments below. I'm gonna see what it is soon. But anyways, let's keep going. Gameplay began here. A box came up on the right side of the screen giving basic instructions. Kill. I messed around with the controls a bit. The arrow keys moved Pixie, and the X key was the attack key. Those were the only controls. The hospital was abandoned, except for the people lying in the various hospital beds that you could enter and kill them. After killing what seemed to be everyone in the dark hospital, the game quickly cut to another stage scene, which then turned into the scene complete menu. Still nothing quite out of the ordinary yet. The loading screen came up and it said Deliverance. I was surprised as Deliverance was the final level in the actual game. The gameplay just abruptly started, and it was inside a Starkweather's attic, the location of the original Deliverance level. Suddenly, the game stopped. Fuck! I said aloud in disappointment. I went to bed after that, deciding to just try it again tomorrow. That night, I had a nightmare that I was being chased by the beta model of Pixie. When I woke up, the abrupt minute I awoke, I could have sworn I heard a faint squeal of a pig. It was probably just my mind fucking with me, I said it to myself. I looked over at the clock next to my bed. 4 a.m. I tried going back to sleep, but I couldn't. I had to play the game. Lucky for me, I didn't have to work the next day. I got up and went back onto my computer. My apartment was almost pitch black. I never bothered to turn on the lights. I started the game, and this time the menu displayed a new option. Continue. Thank fucking God. I clicked it, and it resumed right where I was the last time. The level was almost identical to the final version used in the actual game. However, the graphics were a little reduced. It was an earlier version. What do you expect? The main objective was the same as last: kill. However, I couldn't find anything to actually kill. I almost shut the game off, but right before I did, a clan of straight-jacket swearing creatures in smiley face masks came running out after me. So I killed them with a chainsaw as the objective said. The game shut off again. I got frustrated, so I stopped playing it. After a few days, I had forgotten about it until about a week later. I kept on waking up in the middle of the night at around 3:30 to 4 a.m., hearing the faint squealing, a chainsaw ripping into flesh, and what sounded like an infant crying. I thought I was going crazy. I kept on hearing voices in my head, repeating kill over and over again, just like the objective of the game. I finally took the disc and snapped it in half and threw it in the trash, hoping to never see it again. Everything went back to normal after that. I stopped waking up in the middle of the night to these sounds and I stopped hearing noises. A few months went by and I completely forgot the game. It was now February 2007. I went to work on a pretty normal day. A friend of mine who also went to the store and were discussing games when they brought out that Manhunt 2 was coming out. When I got home, I looked up the game, and what do you know? A a few days earlier, Rockstar Games had officially announced the sequel to Manhunt. It was then that I noticed the blood dance icon was still in my desktop. I clicked on it, and to my misfortune, the game started. I opened up the disc tray and was shocked to see that the game I had snapped in half and threw away was in perfect condition, sitting in my disc tray. The nightmares continued. To this day, I am still waking up at 4 a.m. to the horrible noises that have been haunting me for 5 years now. I got a new computer a few years ago, but the disc somehow found its way back to my new computer, and no matter how many times I try to get rid of it, it keeps coming back. My life has seen a lot of change now, and it's never gonna be the same ever again. But now we know about the manhunt. And here are some comments and ratings. What's this? What's that? Let me just investigate. Okay, it's just narration. Okay. Let's go back. All right. I'm gonna try and just being quiet a little bit. Just trying to. What the fuck? Sorry. Let's see. What kind of game creepypasta should I read? Tell me in the comments for those who are seeing it. No, I'm just gonna go into creepypasta here. So you can go to Or just right here. I've been thinking of a funny mouth. Funny mouth should be good. Hold on, someone's saying something. Okay. So this is funny mouth. They heard that this one was a very good creepypasta. That's all I heard of. Alright, let's begin. Funny mouth has joined hashtag refer sales. Hello everyone. Wait, hold on. So this is Funny Mouth speaking. Hello everyone tonight. I'd like to lick the blood out of in the person. I see your handsome face. Don't be so sad about it. Come on, smiley face. Funny Mouth has left hashtag refer sales. Ghost George says, holy fuck, what the fuck? Lemon Lime Skull says, did that just happen? Ghost George responded, yes, Skull, yes it did. The first thing I should probably note is that I'm Lemon Lime Skull. In other words, that's my screen name up there. That was the first I saw or heard from Funny Mouth. And for all intents and purposes, it should have been the last. Anyone who spent enough time chatting away knows that weirdos come and go. Folks pop in to ask insane questions or just to troll a popular channel. What first struck me as odd about the funny mouth guy, however, was the fact that he came and went with no particular goal. He didn't try to piss anyone off, and he didn't ask if anyone on the channel knew how to fix his computer or remove a virus. He just stuck his head in, rattled off some random text, and happily fucked off. So really though, what the hell? Not a clue. Goddamn copyright. I mean, autocorrect, sorry. He's in another channel if you want to find out. Hashtag blood. I do not, sir. Bitch. I don't know what results I expected from following this guy to another channel. I'm not the type that goes out of his way to annoy or argue with people. I usually avoid it at all costs. Though once someone starts with me, I don't mind getting to it at that point. I guess what I'm saying is I have no idea why I pursued this. Lemon's Lime Skull has entered hashtag blood. Hey, he was sitting there in the channel by himself. Smile face. So you're staring at me. That's rude. Sorry. I just do it. It's okay. I see. I actually chuckled out loud at this point. He was weird and inoffensive. You can come back to hashtag with yourself if you want. We're not going to boot you if that's what you're worried about. Or not. Whatever, man. You just seem interesting and I'm bored tonight. I'm bored tonight too. I always don't. You always don't what? I always don't. That's it. I always don't because they don't and then I get silly. Okay, well, see you around. And with that, I left. The act got old fast, and I felt either there was someone trying too hard or a legitimate moron who was unaware of how to properly use a chat program, sitting idly by yourself and popping into other channels for a split second seemed like a desperate bidder for attention. I might have done that and laughed my ass off in or around the 90s. But yeah, stupid. Nothing. I seriously don't know what he was saying. Ha! Welcome to the internet. What's sad is that, besides you and me, that guy is the only active user here all night. Lemon Skull kicks killed it and shouts, wake up! Blah. Silence dominated the channel for about a half hour as I minimized the window and went about my business. Anyone on? Anyone on? Nothing. 8 users in the channel, not a single one active. Boring. Why are you people so boring? Wake up. Lemon Skull puts everyone's hand in a bowl of warm water. It took me a few seconds to see him, funny mouth again, staring again. I physically slapped my shoulders with it, not this shit again, sigh. Sorry. Then I noticed he wasn't in the channel. Huh? Anyone else see him? Of course not, because you're idle. Obviously, it was a glitch with either my client or the server. The message was kicked out from early in the night at random. These things happen. Still, it creeped the hell out of me. After a few minutes, I was sitting there with a really cold, creepy feeling in my stomach that I should have done something feeling. I decided to stop trying to brave it out and just close out the entire chat program. Sure, I could have just hung out like everything was fine, but why bother trying to prove I wasn't spooked? Hell, nobody was even around to see me slink away. After a few more hours screwing around on the web, I went to bed around 2:40 a.m., which I would probably do. One thing I always pride myself on is that I do not have nightmares. I do sometimes. At least not regularly. Usually. If there are monsters or ghosts or nuclear wars in my dream, I get to control it and I have a great time. I'm shooting zombies in the face, outright telling ghosts they're not real while I laugh at them. And if there's some disaster, I always know how to get to this safe spot while every other MFer fries. I think MF means mother, you know. I have maybe four actual nightmares in the past 10 years, and yes, I'm completely serious. The first nightmare of my adult life was in 2005. I just broken up a relationship with someone who had been with someone else for over a year behind my back. That night, when I finally did get to sleep, I dreamt she was strapped down to a medical table while some sort of unseen, inexplicable creature sucked her brain out through an organic machine. The brain screamed ceaselessly. Ceaselessly. How? What? The second nightmare had me visiting a medical facility where they were experimenting with new methods of saving lives. There was a fantastic tour of this high-tech facility, lots of wonders of modern science, people in lab coats, etc. Then I was led to a room where three car crash victims had been saved by their techniques. This included a slowly rocking young girl whose face had completely distended and hung around her chest, and a woman who was nothing but a cluster of twitching several limbs, all held together by a drawn-out cat-like span of flesh. The third came soon after the second. I was being accosted by two people. One wanted to insult me to no end, and the other kept trying to pinch and tweak me in absurdly infected ways, thinking I could control this dream like others. I set the two men against each other, thinking it would be a sort of poetic justice. Instead, the pincher became increasingly violent until it was pulling at the other's cheeks, grabbing his tongue with a fist and furiously pulling at it until it came out. Then he pulled the fellow's eyelids until they distended in some sort of grotesque prolapse. I suppose what I'm getting at is that even when I did have nightmares, I was never the actual target of any sort of horror. It's always been a kind of empathetic horror related to someone else getting brutalized. Well, hot damn. This night, however, was different. As soon as I fell asleep, I started dreaming. Basically, it was a recurring dream I have where I'm in the woods, just checking out animals and birds and generally acting chill. I'll lie in the grass and look up at the sky. It's always a dream I welcome. Because even if I had a shit day, I'll make up happy and ready to start over. This time, the script changed. I laid in the grass, but while I was staring at the sky, I felt something odd. It was a cold, squirming feeling on my neck. In a dream, I reached to my neck and pulled away a long, frightening earthworm. Earthworms disgust me. Well, it disgusts me too. If I see one in the yard, I specifically get a shovel and heap dirt over it simply so I don't accidentally see it again. Disgust, but more or less content. I found the warm aside and continued my dream. Then that feeling again, clammy, wet, wiggling against the side of my neck. I pull another worm away. Who is he, the worm man? Or earthworm? Or earthworm Jim? Boom. Sorry. Again it happened. The third time, the feeling of confusion and dread became so overwhelming that I immediately snapped myself out of the dream. That's what usually happens when shit gets real in my dreams. Game over. I figured out though, at least I thought I had. In the waking world, I felt my neck and discovered a slick, slimy film on my skin. Logic dictated that I must have been drooling in my sleep. Nothing to be proud of, but not exactly terrifying either. My dreaming mind must have translated the icky feeling to an appropriate creature in the forest dream. Hold on. There we go. Perhaps more unsettling, though, was the fact that the bed around me seemed to have indentations, four to be exact. It was almost as if someone on hands and knees had been hovering over me as I slept. There was any number of reasons that it could have happened, but from then on that night, I slept very lightly. Any little thing, like the sound of a ceiling fan, would wake me up straight away. I had no real interest in going back to the woods that night. When morning came around, I got ready to take off, to get out of the house and shake the cobwebs out. I only planned to check my email real quick to make sure I didn't have any pending transactions or questions I had to answer. Surprise. Hold on, I'll be right back. I just need to close the door. I closed the door right now. For funnymouth at blood.com. I had a good time to talk to you. It can be fun again. You'll see what. I don't like to stop it. What? As you probably recall, I hadn't given this asshat my email address. However, logical answer, someone else on the channel must have. He obviously came back to hashtag refersales as someone who I was, and that douchebag completely betrayed me. No, I don't give out my personal contact info, although the email was dated 2:40. That was pretty much the moment I went to bed, when everyone on the channel was still idle. Even though I well and truly knew I was taking some sort of bait, I respond. From Charles Rodriguez at refersales.com to funnymouth@blood.com. Yeah, bro. Not exactly sure I want to email me. I want you email me. Okay. It was clear and to the point. There was no mistaking the message I was sending, and though it was snippy, I wasn't goading him into replying by starting a flame war. But of course, for funnymouth@blood.com to Charles what refersales.com. Come on, don't be so sad about it. I knew you can like it. We will have fun a lot of the time. It's okay, even. And with that, I blocked this address. Really? I should have done that in the first place, but I still had some sick sort of interest in exactly where this was going. Maybe if I put my foot down, he would admit he was just screwing around and call me a humorless wet blanket. Fuck. When I saw it, was just the same old bullshit that gave me the green light to go ahead and shut the guy out. For what it's worth, you can relax at this point. The blocking stuck. There was no follow-up message circumventing the ban. After a few minutes, I assured myself that it was all over and went about my day. wasn't until I got home at dusk that I felt the cold, squirming feeling in my stomach started all over again. And I had no idea why. Well, that's not entirely true. I had some idea. I checked my email. Nothing from Funny Mouth. However, there was an email from George. From George T to Charles Watts. Hey, references.com is fucked up. I can't get shit to load. When you're online, please take a look ASAP. Peace and carrots, George. Or is it Jose or whatever, I don't know. Whatever. I let out a string of curses. Downtime meant lost sales, and I've been out all day with no way for George to contact me. If I'd been a little less strict with my personal info, he could just call me. I loaded the site and waited for some sort of error screen. Instead, it began to reroute to another page, blood.com. And for those who don't know, this was the page to blood.com. But when I type it in, look, blood.com. Wait. Yeah, blood.com. Look, it's deleted. It's full deleted, guys. There is a YouTube video, though. It showed that he went into blood.com. And I know that what happened to him. And this is what the picture looks like. For Charles Watts to George G. Yeah, I see it. It's redirected to a website with a giant pixelated face with a messed up tongue. I think this has to be that Firemouth POS. Did you give him my email with the domain in it? CW. Oh, I think it's okay. I know. It's Charles Watts. Okay. Shut up. From George D to Charles Watts. It's a 404 page, not a redirect. I want what you're smoking. All I get on blood.com is the coming soon notice. I didn't give anyone shit. George. For Charles Watts to George D. Har, funny. Then George emailed me a screenshot of this site giving a 4-4 error, along with the coming soon notice for blood.com. We could have easily faked them, but why? I mean, if this was some sort of joke, it was pretty abstract and I didn't get it. When I logged in my website files, everything was normal. Nothing was out of place, and nobody had even logged in to change anything. I checked the domain name servers, the thing that routes the domain where it's supposed to go, and nothing was out of sorts. Still, there was still a bloated, tongue-wagging face looking back at me with its empty eye sockets. Then, I don't know how I missed it in the first place. Looking closely, the picture of that face wasn't actually pixelated. It was made of tiny letters. HTML code coloring each letter specific to the image. Over and over again, the word that made up the image was right in front of me. Funny mouth. In a great cluster of nonsense. I felt like spitting at the screen, which I do not want to. I unblocked his email address and set about writing an incredibly profane and threatening letter. I didn't really care if I got this side back at this point. I just wanted to get everything off my chest so I could feel like I was in control of the situation again. Before I could finish the letter, I just got this weird, creepy feeling again that it could be feeling when you know you're being absurd. But at the same time, you know you're right. I start hacking on my death threats and check the inbox. From Firemouth at blood.com to Charles Watts. I see a handsome face. Oh my fucking god, it's like he's gonna rape him. I don't know. From Firemouth at blood.com to Charles Watts. Hello, buddy. From Firemouth to Charles Watts. Come on. Farmers just once. Hello. Farmers just once. Hello. 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 Oh my god. Jesus Christ. Oh, that's pretty good. Was. I don't. I do not want to not. What the hell is happening? A fundamental that blood had come to Charles Watts. I see a handsome face. Not only was that feeling correct, the feeling that he had already emailed me the minute I unblocked him, but it seemed he had still been emailing me nonstop since I blocked him. 10 more letters arrived just within that time span it took me to reply. From Charles Watts to fundamental blood account. Fucking stop. Wow. I was getting a stress headache. My heart was pounding, not from fear, but rage. This was probably the most absurdly infuriating person on the internet, and that's saying a lot. Thankfully, the string of letters did indeed stop. I'm trying to calm myself down, breathing deeply, but it didn't seem to take. I was still incredibly pissed. Slowly, methodically, I sent him another note. From Charles Watts to a funny mouth with blood. Hi. I don't understand what you're saying, and I do not understand that what you want. I, wait, let me just restart that. Hold on. Hi. I don't understand what you are saying, and I do not understand what you want. I think there may be a language barrier. Is your first language English? I think you have done something to my website, and I would like you to undo it. If you're mad at me, I did not intend this to happen. You may have misunderstood what I said or what I meant. Please change my website back and let's both go our separate ways. Thank you. CW. I waited. I thought about how I conquered my anger and that this measured response was really the best way to go about it. This fellow will understand what I meant. He realized the mistake he made. I calmed down, everything was going to be okay. Then I hit the roof. I hit the goddamn roof and went clear through it. I smacked the monitor with my palm, knocking me clear off the desk. That pissed me off even more, as I drove my fist to the keyboard repeatedly until the keys flew free. I screamed out in a mixture of frustration with myself and rage over the situation and stormed out of the room, knocking down anything and everything I could get my hands on. For as long as I could manage the energy, I lay waste to my own shit. I would have started a fire and burned the fucking place down if I had a lighter on hand. That night I started at a ceiling for what I felt like an eternity before sleep came. Waiting for sleep, I knew I was going to have a nightmare. I just knew it. This was how my luck was going. Imagine how surprised I was, even in sleep, when instead of some horrific setting, I was someplace safe. The woods. I laid in the grass again. I felt the relaxation. I knew, even my subconscious knew, that everything would be okay, no matter what setbacks life threw at me. The world would go on. Nothing was permanent. Everything was in transition. Nobody could really get to me. I felt like this squirming against my neck. Nope, no dice. Nothing could spoil this right now. I ignore the worm. It will go away. I felt the squirming move to my mouth. Now, I couldn't will myself awake. Every other time, I've been able to decide to wake up, but it seemed like the opportunity had now passed. Then, it wasn't a worm. It was a finger. Then another. Then more until four slimy, squirming digits were locked around my teeth, clutching my lower jaw. It didn't hurt when it happened. It was just sort of like a pop. More pressure than pain. Oh my god. Poor Charles Watts. Wait, is that his name? Yeah, Charles Watts. Jesus Christ. It was quick, and before I even knew what was going on, it was over. I then managed to force myself awake. I sat up and got to my feet in complete darkness, feeling my way around the walls. I made my way into the bathroom. There, I finally flicked the light switch. I stood before the mirror, rubbing my eyes as the harsh light blinded me. I stared into the mirror for minutes on end with no reaction, no feelings, no thoughts. Then I smiled. I smiled as best I could. Now that my jaw was completely broken, hanging loose around my neck, my tongue lolled out listlessly like a paralyzed gooey slug. My teeth weren't rooted in anything but threads of flesh, and I could pull them out by hand with about the same discomfort as a needle prick. I laughed. The whole thing sounded coming out like the gurgle of a back up sewer drain. What a handsome face! What a funny mouth! A funny mouth! A funny mouth! Funny mouth! Funny mouth! Lemon Lime Skull has joined Reefer Sales. I see handsome face. Don't be so sad about it. Hey, where the fuck were you? Hello? Charles. Wow. Jesus Christ. Yeah, this is for the experience by himself. Fuck's sake, Charles. What have you done to yourself? Oh my god. Jesus, someone's still calling me. What the fuck are they doing? Hold on a minute. Advanced Gate 2 says it would join, but like last time when my original plan was that I was about to read all creepypastas, I decided to only read NES Godzilla creepypasta. And then my mistake was that I added every single one of my friends. And while I was reading, they were doing something else. And I was yawning so damn much that I was completely interrupted by Advanced Kid, Multisonic, etc. If you look at the description of my live stream, you may see that I may gonna talk. I may read with famous creepypasta YouTuber such as that Creepy Reading or TCR, Mr. Creepypasta. For those who don't know who Mr. Creepypasta is, he's the one who made FNEF Hidden Lore. And I made prologues. Yes. And you know, Vasquez, you're just gonna do something. I mean, what the hell's on my arm? I don't know. Alright, what's next? What's next? Wait, did I? Okay, I already have it. Okay. What's next? What up? Okay. JBK 116cc .asp. Alright. How long is this? Okay. Alright, guys, it's not that long. Look at the thing over there. It's not that long, as you can see. There's only 3 images. That, and that. Alright. Let's get going. jvk116c.esp. What am I doing? Some people might recall some momentary buzz caused a couple of years ago by a particularly morbid mod. The file name was jvk116c.esp. It was never posted on any of the larger Elder Scrolls communities, usually just smaller boards and role-playing groups. I know in a few cases, rather than being posted, it was sent via PM or email to a chosen few. It was only up for a few days. to the best of my knowledge. It caused a buzz because it was a virus, or seemed to be. If you tried to load the game with the mod active, it would hang at the initial load screen for a full hour and then crash to the desktop. If you let it get that far, your install moment, along with any save files you have, will become completely corrupted. Well, shit! Nobody could figure out what the mod was trying to do, since it couldn't be opened in a construction set eventually. Warnings were distributed not to use it if you found it, and things died down. Oh yeah, by the way, that's an assassin. Alright, about a year later, in a mod board I used to frequent, someone popped up with a mod again. He said it was PM'd, but a local deleted his account immediately after sending. He also said that the person advised him to try playing the mod through DOSBox. For some reason, this worked. Sort of. The game was a bit laggy, and you couldn't get into options, load game, the console, or really anything else other than the game itself. The quick load hot buttons worked, but that was it. And the quick save file seemed to be just part of the game file, so you couldn't get at it anymore. Some speculated that the changed game used an older graphics renderer, making DOSBox necessary, but it didn't look any different. This part I can speak about from personal experience. When you start a new game in JVK, as the board came to call it, once you left this starting bit in the census office and came into the game proper, the first thing you notice is that the prophecy has been served box pops up. What? Sorry, I just burped a little bit. Alright. This is because every single NPC having to do with the main quest is dead, with the sole exception of Yagrum Bagran, the last of the Dwemer. Their corpses never despawn, so you can go check on all of them. In effect, you begin in a world that is doomed to start with. The second thing you notice is that you're losing health. It's only a bit, but it keeps happening, a little bit at a time. The longer you stay in one place, the quicker it seems to occur. If you let this health loss kill you, you find the cause. A figure we came to call the assassin, because it seems to wear a retextured version of the dark blade armor from Tribunal, even though the expansions don't work in JVK. It's all black, completely untextured, like he's just a hole in space. The way he moves, he gave me quite a start. The first time I saw him skulling around my dead body, he crawls inhumanly on his hands and feet. His arms and legs splay out like a spider. You usually only see him after death, crawling around and over your body just before the reload box popped up. Occasionally, you could catch a glimpse of him darting around a corner or crawling on a wall or ceiling. It made the game very difficult to play at night. Other than that, the only noticeable difference is that at night, at random intervals, every NPC in the game would go outside for a few minutes. During this time, the only thing they would say when held in is watch the sky. Oh yeah, by the way, before I continue reading, if you point out the image, you can clearly see the assassin right over there. Just like that the retro demon said once before. Okay. I don't know if we're still on or. I don't know. Let me just drink some water first. Because I clearly need some. Okay. Okay, we're still on. Okay. I was just watching. Sorry. Once they return to their normal behavior, they act like normal, though. After a while, the player on the board discovered a new NPC called named Teras, a male Dunmer in the temple at Ghostgate. Two things are notable about this NPC. First is his robe, a unique article of clothing that was lovingly rendered with twinkling stars all across it, looking like a torn off chunk of the night sky. The second is that all of his dialogue, in addition to showing up in the dialogue box, is voiced. You can skip it if you wish, but it all sounds like it's in the default male voice. Some people said that they thought the voice was slightly different, but it was a very, very good imitation. I won't go into the details, but the questline he sends you on has to do with the dungeon referred to simply as the Citadel. Yes, I said the Citadel. Shut up. Alright. What? Up until this point, the quests were all of a fairly generic discovered the secrets of the ancient spent. The entrance to this dungeon is on a small island far to the west of Morven proper. I eventually discovered that if you use a scroll of Icarian flight at the westernmost point on the main landmass and jump directly west, you end up almost exactly at the island. Even though the dungeon is called the Citadel, it goes straight down. It draws any other dungeon, both in size and difficulty. From a natural cave area, you'll proceed down into an ancestral tomb-looking area, then a Daedric ruin area, then a Dwemer ruin area. I made it down to the Dwemer ruins before I quit. The creatures here were strong enough that a level 20 character I would have to take care of. And since you can use the console in JVK, level 20 took a while to get to. Says quick save or quick load are your only options. It's all too easy to get yourself into a possible situation too. I did, and I just didn't have the energy to start over. Now that I'm telling you, it's based on what those few who went further reported. Past the Dwemer ruins, you find yourself in a level like the Dwemer ruins, but darker. Rather than the usual bronze, all the surfaces, including those of the creatures, are black. The sounds of machinery are loud here, and grow louder still, randomly. There's also steam or fog everywhere, limiting your vision to about 10 in-game feet or so. If you can make it through all this, you reach a hall that those who found it call it the portrait room. Like the fire and torches or other effects from early 3D games, this room has picture frames that always face directly at you, no matter how you look at them. The images in the frames were always randomly chosen images from your My Pictures folder. On the board, the ones who got there had some fun posting screenshots of the portrait room with various pictures in the frames. Usually porn, of course. Oh my god. At the end of the hall was a locked door. After admitting defeat and returning to TRS, everyone just found and saying, "Watch the sky," in his gravelly voice. How's gravely? How's gravely? It's like, watch the sky. I mean, like, how? How gravely? I don't know. What's more, nobody else in the game would say anything. It was just a completely blank dialogue box with no options at all. They wouldn't even rattle of the usual canned, audible greetings. The only exception was at night. Whenever they go out for a few minutes, they still repeated, "Watch the sky." At this point, one of the players, a friend of mine from the board, noticed, and a few others who got this far agreed, that the night sky was no longer the usual night sky of Tamriel. It had changed to a depiction of a real night sky, and it moved. From this point on, everything is based on what one person reported. Eventually, he got himself kicked from the board, but I kept in contact with him for as long as he responded. According to him, based on the constellations and planets, the sky started around February 2005. If you died, loaded, or went back into the Citadel, it would start over. When the usual day's sky graphics took over, the movements will be suspended until the stars appear again. In the space of a single night, everything will move about 2 months worth. Since this time scale JVK was more or less that of a standard game, that meant that a bit less than an hour was equal to a 24-hour period. He became convinced that a door would open based on some kind of celestial event. Of course, waiting for that meant leaving the game running. Of course, that meant that the game couldn't be left unattended. Thanks to our old friend, the assassin. My friend decided he'd hang out for a whole day just to see if anything happened. That would be a year's worth of movement. Here's the post he made at the end of the experiment. I literally saved I need. Where it all starts. It wasn't too bad. I just had to check in now and then to move around and heal to make sure I wasn't dying. But check it out. 24 hours exactly in. And the assassin learned a new trick. He screams! I was reading and all of a sudden, this crazy dust streak just about makes me crap myself. It's like something out of a horror movie. I look up and there he is. Just crossed down right in front of me. Of course, the second I moved my character, he ran off. When I went back down to the portrait room, the door was still locked. Damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it. A bit later, he came to the decision that he needed to wait 3 days, 3 years. The PM advising us to try DOSBox showed up in February of 2008 was his reasoning. Anyway, after the first shriek, the assassin stops hitting you out of nowhere. Now he'll shriek, and if you don't move for a few seconds after that, he hits you. I think whoever made the mod was trying to help. At night, I've got my headphones on, and I was just kind of dozing off when he makes me up with a shriek. I jiggle the mouse, and I'm good. That post was 2 days in from his laptop once it was over. Fuck. So fucking done. So wait, the 3 days right after the fucking assassin made me jiggle the mouse, he shrieks again. So I look, and everyone in town is outside. They're all saying, "Watch the sky." I don't see anything though. But then the game starts getting dark, like really dark. I turn up the brightness all the way on my monitor, and I can still barely see. I can't see other people in the game. Little figures running around in the distance, just running back and forth. If I'm trying to get close, they run off. Now, I was trying to sleep, so the lights are off, and this is kind of creepy. I don't want to get up to turn on my light because I don't want to miss anything. I don't want to miss it. Oh, okay. Miss it. But nothing fucking happens. Eventually, I'll go back to the Citadel. It's still dark, and I gotta swim. And the whole time, I can see all these guys swimming all around me, just barely there. I make it to the Citadel, and it's no more light inside, and I get worried. Sure enough, the portrait door is still fucking closed. I go outside, and it's all starting over. So that's it. I'm fucking going to bed, and I'm fucking done. The end. After that, two things happened. First, another of the people who got to the portrait room claimed that the assassin was showing up in his regular Morrowind game. Quick explanation: if you reinstall Morrowind to a different folder, you could have in normal Morrowind installed along with JFK. He himself shrugged it up to an overactive imagination at first, but he reported a couple of really big scares with a black figure crawling right at him, or seeing it waiting for him just around the corner before scuttling off. Another of those who reached the portrait room started a regular moving game, but never saw him for sure. It was just a couple of maybes late at night, and always at a distance. The second is that my friend started getting really abusive and short-tempered on the board, though he stopped talking about JVK entirely. It got so bad that was soon kicked off. I didn't hear anything from him for a couple of weeks, and after that, so I sent him an email. This is part of his reply. I know I shouldn't, but with class out, I got some time, so I started JVK up again. It's almost 2011, and I think I got the sleep madness. But stuff is happening. It's still dark. Once it gets dark, it never gets any lighter. It stays like that. The people moved a few months ago. Everyone saved the need, just went to the little bandit cave and moved in. They killed the bandits inside and now they just standing around inside. They don't say anything anymore. They don't do anything when you click on them. I click save and kill one and he's just stood there until they die without fighting back. And it's like that everywhere. You have to walk, since the quick travel people are only in caves now, too. But all the cities and towns are just deserted. All the people in the caves and tombs. Everyone in Vivek is down in the sewers. I'm going to go ski next. I want to see if Teras is still there. I'll tell you what it says when I get there. I replied and it said I wanted to see what it said too. And waited a day. When I didn't get a reply, I mailed him again, and a couple of hours later, he sent back. Sorry, I totally forgot. So it's 2014 now. Since it's always night, the stars are always moving. The whole screen is dark, but you can still see the brightest stars moving around. Terrace was gone. Everyone in Ghost Gate was gone. I don't know where they went. They're not in any of the nearby caves. But there's new stuff. People still don't see anything, but their eyes are bleeding. It's so dark that even with the light spell, you have to get right up against them to see. But there they are. Little dark streaks coming down from the eyes. I think I gotta be getting close. I know this is stupid, and there's no way the payoff is going to be worth it, but I just want to be able to say I stuck it out. I got that one during the day. Later night, I got a follow-up email. Some of the plans are moving right. It's pissing me off. If this keeps up, I won't be able to keep track anymore. It's almost 2015 now. What? It's 2015 now already. Jesus. I think. Fuck! You know, I just now noticed that there aren't any monsters anymore either. I'm completely alone outside now. The main quest people's bodies are still lying around, though I went to check on them. I don't need headphones anymore, so I just leave them off. When he shrieks, it's like he's screaming right into my ear. I think we I think I even kind of anticipated. He's around a lot more now, a lot closer. He's different from the other people who started showing up, remember? They keep running around just when I can barely see them. I have to admit, it's kind of creepy at night. Sometimes when I go to the bathroom or whatever, I swear I can see something out of the corner of my eye. I'm keeping all the lights on now. I sent him a letter, jokingly telling him to get some real sleep, and left it at that. 2 mornings later, I found this in my email. It was the last thing I got from him. After this, he stopped responding completely. I just got from a fucked up dream, I think. The assassin shrieked at me. When I opened my eyes, he was right there, crouching over me. His arms and legs were long and more like a spider's. I tried to push him away, but when I touched him, my hands just went inside, and I couldn't get them loose again, like he was made of tar or something. Then I woke up. I thought he was gone, but when I looked at the monitor, monitor, I wasn't where I was. I was in the corpusarium, corpusarium with Yagran. For once, the light was okay, and I could see him all bloated on those mechanical spider legs. I sat down on the computer and he started talking to me. Not in a box, but really talking to me. In Tira's voice. He knew things about me. He told me things that I never told anyone. Some things I totally forgot about. He told me that almost nobody had made it this far, and that the door will open up soon. I just had to hang on a little while longer. He said I know when it was time. He said I might be the first one to see what was inside. And then I woke up for real. But I was at the computer. I still wasn't where I was. I'm swinging out of the Citadel Island, and I can hear this tapping. It's at my window. It's over on the left. So I'm sending you this because I left my laptop by my bed. To the right, just a little tap, 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 like he's knocking his finger against the glass. I might still be dreaming now. So I guess that's the end of the story. I know there's a few other stories floating around about the mod, but this is the only I know as true. As far as it goes, as far as it goes, I deleted my JVK copy of the game pretty much right after I gave up. But I'd like to get the mod again. If anyone still has a copy of the file, I'd like to see some of this for myself. My goodness. My goodness. Alright, what's next? Oh, I know, someone in the game is, hold on, someone in the game is wiki.com. Lots of creepypastas there. Creepypastas. These are creepypastas over there, you know. Yeah. Alright, community. Alright. Okay, guys, okay. What? Video games, and SOG read. Wow. What am I looking at? Talking Angela and Eric. What's all to be teasing at today? It's been a while since I talked to him. Oh yeah, he's at his dad. Yeah, pretty shame. Huh. Oh my god, okay. The fuck's this? Hello, beta. I don't know about this. I'll try to get into that later, and then possibly the troll pastas. Wait, do I still have troll pastas? Yeah, I do. There was something there. Hold on. I'll be right back, guys. Oh, I'm back, guys. I just want to find some quick process on this, so we're just trying to search for some. All right, let's go back in again. As you can see, I have Dead Bart. Yep, number one last episode on my list. Not top 10 list, however. I mean, list that I'm gonna read. What? Order lists? There are already some lists? Oh, goddamn. Okay. Anyways, let's go straight into this one. Dead Bart. Oh my god. You know how Fox has a weird way of counting Simpson episodes? They refuse to count a couple of them, making the amount of episodes inconsistent. The reason for this is the last episode from season 1. Finding details about this missing episode is difficult. No one who was working on the show at the time likes to talk about it. For one that was been pieced together, the last episode was written entirely by Matt Groening. During production of the first season, Matt started to act strangely. He was very quiet, seemed nervous and morbid, mentioning this to anyone who was present, resulting in them getting very angry and forbidding you to ever mention it to Matt. I first heard of it at an event where David Silverman was speaking. Someone in the crowd asked about the episode, and Silverman simply left the stage, ending the presentation hours early. The episode's production number was 7G06. The title was Dead Bart. The episode label 7G06, Moaning Lisa, was made later and given Dead Bart's production code to hide the latter's existence. In addition to getting angry, asking anyone who was on the show about this will cause them to do everything they can to stop you from directly communicating with Matt Groening at a fan event. I managed to follow him after he spoke to the crowd, and eventually had a chance to talk to him alone as he was leaving the building. He didn't seem upset that I had followed him. Probably expected a typical encounter with an obsessive fan. When I mentioned the last episode, though, all color drained from his face and he started trembling. When I asked him if he could tell me the details, he sounded like he was on the verge of tears. He grabbed a piece of paper, wrote something on it, and handed it to me. He begged me never to mention the episode again. The piece of paper had a website address on it. I would rather not say what it was, for reasons you'll see in a second. I entered the address into my browser, and I came to a site that was completely black, except for a line of yellow text, a download link. I clicked on it, and the file started downloading. Once the file was downloaded, my computer went crazy. It was the worst virus I had ever seen. System restore didn't work, the entire computer had to be rebooted. Before doing so, I copied the file into a CD. I tried to open it on my now empty computer, and as I suspected, there was an episode of The Simpsons on it. The episode started off like any other episode, but had a very poor quality animation. If you've seen the original animation for Some Enchanted Evening, it was similar, but less stable. The first act was fairly normal, by the way. The character's acting was a little off. Sorry that I burped again. Homer seemed angrier. Marge seemed depressed. Lisa seemed anxious. Bart seemed to have a genuine anger and hatred for his parents. The episode was about the Simpsons going on a plane trip. Near the end of the first act, the plane was taking off. Bart was floating around as expected. However, as the plane was about 50 feet off the ground, Bart broke a window on the plane and was sucked out. Jesus. At the beginning of the series, Matt had an idea that the animated style of The Simpsons will represent life and that death turned things more realistic. This was used in this episode. The picture of Bart's corpse was barely recognizable. They took full advantage of it not having to move and made an almost photorealistic drawing of his dead body. Act 1 ended with the shot of Bart's corpse. When Act 2 started, Homer, Marge, and Lisa were sitting at their table, crying. The cry went on and on. It got more pain and sounded more realistic, better acted than you would think possible. The animation started to decay even more as they cried, and you could hear murmuring in the background. The characters could barely be made out. They were stretching and blurring. They looked like deformed shadows with random bright colors thrown on them. There were faces looking in the window, flashing in and out, so you were never sure what they looked like. This crime went on for all of Act 2. Act 3 opened with a title card saying 1 year had passed. Homer, Marge, and Lisa were skeletal as thin and still sitting at the table. There was no sign of Maggie or the pets. They decided to visit Bart's grave. Springfield was completely deserted, and as they walked the cemetery, the houses became more and more decrepit. They all looked abandoned. When they got to the grave, Bart's body was just lying in front of his tombstone, looking just like it did at the end of Act 1. The family started crying again. Eventually, they stopped and just stared at Bart's body. The camera zoomed in on Homer's face. According to summaries. What? Homer tells a joke at this part, but it isn't audible in the version I saw. Can't tell what Homer is saying. The view zoomed out as the episode came to a close. The tombstones in the background had the names of every Simpsons guest stars on them. Some that no one had heard of in 1989. Some that haven't been on the show yet. All of them had death dates on them. 4 guests that once, like Michael Jackson and George Harrison. The dates when they would die. The credits were completely silent and seemed handwritten. The final image was the Simpson family on the couch, like in intros, but all drawn in hyper-realistic, lifeless style of Bart's corpse. A thought occurred to me after seeing the episode for the first time. You could try to use the tombstones to predict the death of living Simpsons guest stars, but there's something odd about most of the ones who haven't died yet. All of the deaths are listed as the same date. Now all I have here is the that he discovered the whole thing. So let me just know. Okay. Can some of you guys hear this? Can you see it? I think not. I don't know. I had no idea. I had no freaking idea. Let me just see if it works, because I'm watching the stream from my PC. The one I'm using right now is the Mac. Yep, it worked. Let's go on. Sorry. Oh, wow. What? Oh my Jesus. If it's laggy, don't judge me. Anybody is fucked. What? Whoa.
Do you have any questions? Yeah. The Bart.
What the fuck? Who are they? Goddamn animation. So realistic. What am I looking at, guys? What am I looking at? There's Marge. There's Lisa. Alright. Run a plane. Oh my god. The fuck? Is that his body?
Oh my god, everything.
What the fuck?
Adiós, coleguilla.
And now there's nothing. Oh my god. What am I looking at? There's Principal Skinner. Skinner! There's Home and Marge. It feels like the Fox made this one, I think. I don't know. Oh, poor Bart. Well, shit. There's Nelson. Alright. That's tombstones. I know, it's not muted. I don't know why it's like that. What the fuck? Whoa. And that was it? Jesus Christ. What did I just watch? Guys, what did I just watch? Did I just experiencing some abomination? The fuck? No. I mean, what? The fuck? Did I just see right now? How long is Crybaby Lane? There's a movie? Oh wow. I don't know. I feel like I'm shocked right now. Shock volume. Uh-huh. How about some theories? Let's see. So theory is shit. Alright. Theory. Let's go. What? Uh-huh. Okay, this is the long. I mean, this thing is short. It's like a Pokemon War theory. Now listen to this. You have no father, and your best friend is an orphan. Children are going to do a journey around the world. Your mother accepts you as the man of the house. Make your own decisions. Old man warns you of dangers around the corner. Most people you meet are children and or gym leaders. Most adult men are getting very old, or having a job related to the military or organized crime. Hospitals and gyms are everywhere, but no forms of entertainment such as movie theaters. And this is the worst that Lieutenant Surge says. Hey kid, what do you think you're doing here? You won't live long in combat. That's for sure. I'll tell you what, kid. Electric Pokemon saved me during the war. You now realize that there was a war in Kanto. Your father died and your rival lost his parents. You are among the first generation of people to live in peace at post-war time. Wow. It's a good and nice theory, and it's short. It's short. It's a goddamn short thingy that I had no idea of. Except for something. Courage the Cowardly Dog. Alright guys, let's read. Courage the Cowardly Dog. Now watch some episodes for Courage of Cowardly Dog. I'm not reading it right now, just telling guys how much I loved Courage the Cowardly Dog. I can't speak right now. Sorry. I watched some episodes of Courage the Cowardly Dog, and I loved it. Jesus. Alright, let's start reading it. Let me just clear my throat. Let's go. Alright, seriously. Let's go. Everyone here loves Courage, but how exactly is he? He's a scary dog that does whatever he can to protect his home. Nowhere. Where is nowhere? Is there a place where there is nothing? No what? No hope? Hell? Courage protects his home and makes sure no one harms Muriel. His master sits in his chair and hates everything and everyone. He knows nothing about hate, despise, and greed. Whenever something evil comes to attack or rule over nowhere, Courage fights back, keeping Muriel safe and Elstate's home from being destroyed. Muriel always sees a new head on Courage whenever something evil comes to war on her, giving him multiple heads. Courage will stay forever in hell, which is nowhere, to protect his home, keeping mankind, which is Muriel, safe from the evils of hell, Lekwak, greed. Naughty Fred, which is murder, cats, etc. His master Satan, Eustache, will rule over and hate all that is hell. No, he is stuck in the middle of her and loves his home. He is Cerberus, a courageous, cowardly dog. Well, for those that don't know what Cerberus is, hold on, let's go Japanese. Cerberus. This is what it looks like. Three-headed dog, giant creature. Even for Harry Potter. Hold on. What the fuck? Where's Harry Potter? Up, it's this one. This was scarier. I'm not gonna read this soon. Oh my god. Man. Well, I got nothing here, so yeah. Let's go to some more gamers. How long is this one? Are these even animated? Yep, what's wrong with my crimes? Okay. Alright. Let's read this one. Alright. So I watched some more gamers read this one, and troll process. I don't know. Alright, let's read this one. I started this like it. This isn't one of those sexy game stories. At no point are you going to hear me claim something within the game, try to rape me, jizz on my face, or force me to masturbate uncontrollably. Alright, before I continue, let me just see. Alright. No, this isn't a sexy game or game doing something. Oh, I thank you, by the way. Doing something ultra smexy or even something hyper realistic. This isn't about the bitch or the Fire Nation propaganda. At no time did I phone a sex hotline only to have my questions answered by Zula, Slenderman, the toppler of a or Azula. You just said Azula already! The story is about a game featuring Azula. I don't think anyone else has uncocked. That's it. No toast, no. It's all conspiracy, man. Just a secret we were all supposed to find, but never did. Something that changes an entire generation's virginity in the very essence of the multi-bazillion peso franchise. This is about what I assume to be a previously undiscovered alternative ending of Super Anglo for the Super Nintendo. There are no cliches whatsoever in this story. Not at all. No hyperrealistic blood. No parts in the game where I couldn't control my character. I didn't get this game for free off eBay. And I was an intern at the company that owns the franchise. Nah, just kidding. This is a gaming creepypasta. It's going to have every cliche in the book, just like all other gaming creepypastas. In 1669, I ricocheted my first computer as a birthday gift. I've been on the interweb before. I'd used computers before, but I had always been in school or at the pimp's house. This one was mine, all mine, just like early kids' nips. I explored the crude, prehistoric web of the time with greatest interest. I've done all sorts of pornography and even printed it out of research. Also part of the media like a madman. Music, games, porn, games, films, music, porn, games, music. Music, games, porn, games, films, music, porn, games, films, music, porn, anything. This was where I first discovered Axel Society. I never had a Super Nintendo as a little man, so it was all new to me. I downloaded tons of games along with the SMES emulator, which I got off eBay for free, but Axel Society was my favorite. Wait, what? For over a decade, the World of Warcraft was my time-wasting hobby. I played over and over again, beating the game faster and faster, until I began to lazily explore the worlds with no particular purpose. Cause I have no life. KG Nico's help immensely. I could turn off the timer and relive a particularly entertaining map for an hour. Again, no life. As I waited for download or any number of boring events. Well, that's sad. It wasn't this manner that I've must be been repeating my dick thousands upon thousands of times. There was comfort in the obese compulsive behavior of this routine. But all that was shattered when I saw the non-blind top. Yeah, that's Toph, by the way. You know the blind earthbender? She first appeared in season 2, by the way, of Avatar, The Last Airbender. Bum bum bum. The non-blind Toph, as I refer to her, was hovering over the exit from the horny sex ship level later on in the game. I call her non-blind because she actually looked at things and seemed to recognize them. It was like someone had made a lazy ROM hack, but I knew from years upon years of experience that this was a normal game. Even though I only just seen this in the game, and it's all new to me. So how the fuck can I think it's still part of the actual game? But I never even not done it. Uh, anyway, so shut up. What the fuck? The non-blind top just hung there over the exit pipe, blocking it. I turned my back on her, but she didn't chase me. How could she? She was busy having a threesome with Soka and Zuko. Then I noticed something else out of sorts. So this didn't belong there, and I knew it. The fact that Toph couldn't actually see nearly gave me a heart attack, and to this day, my heart hurts and is sore. For a moment, I considered the fact that I actually broken the ROM file from overuse, which is possible. I did play it for over a fucking decade. After taking a screenshot, particularly to show all of you avatars out there, I picked up the key and opened the door, figuring the game would spaz out and I had to start. Instead, it opened up a new path on the map selection screen. It anus next to Ozai's already creepy head cave. Thingamagigagabo. I pressed the right arrow and moved onto the chocolate starfish. No, not the semen, not the semen. Ah, oh, it's in my eyes, my eyes. Ah, it's over my eyes. Ah. So it's like paired up the scene from The Wicker Man, the remake one, which is. Let's continue. This didn't really strike me as odd, because if you're familiar with the Jinklitz World game, there's an area called Fart Road that you may know has similar names, just stuff like Charlock and Chingluch, and all manner of dumb words and phrases. Most of the areas were called Vagina Force 1 and Nutsack Mountain 3. And all that, but there were maps with odd names like that. What it concerned me, though, was Aang's expression. Surprise, shock, fear, arousal, barbecue sauce, butter. I entered the butt. All enough the ass on the middle of the leg began with the standard Hell 666 entry animation and walked up to a hyper-realistic door with the words Hell 666 written in equally hyper-realistic blood. While the Lavaton thing played in reverse, he looked up, heard an awful Kafka laugh, then went in. I could tell it was under lava, though, because everyone melted almost instantly. Inside the castle, I started to look more and more like I was in fact experiencing a glitch. But this game of pasta isn't about a glitch. It has no cliches whatsoever, so shut up. Did I mention I was also an intern at, you know what, it really doesn't matter. Back to the plot. There is no room to jump, no room to do anything but run left and right and fap. I must have gone right for 10 to 20 times, just holding the beat button and running along at full speed. So naturally, I got bored and decided to shut the game off and do something productive with my life. The end. Not how I fool you. Did you really think there will be a game in Creepypasta where the protagonist has any degree of common sense? Of course, I continue playing .exe. What? After a while, I ran into one or two non-blind Tophs. Yes, two. It seems Toph has mastered the art of Shadow Clone Jutsu. Oh, well, I'm not one to complain. This simply means more of the glorious, magnificent Toph to go around. In the whiteness above, then 3 or 4, and the screen was full of them. They just kind of hung there, doing nothing. They wouldn't chase me if I turned my back. As with the previous non-blind Toph, although they had no reason not to chase me, as they weren't having an orgy with a bunch of Zoka and Zuko clones. They must all be too. Stoned to care or something. If I made any noise like fapping, they would just kind of say, "Do it, you gotta stop." Like they heard that sound of the fapping from within the game world, but couldn't do anything about it because they couldn't reach out of the screen and eat me. That would be pretty cliche, don't you think? Well, I'm so random. Then something made me stop and turn the other way. Now I knew beyond the shadow of a doubt that this map was designed specifically to troll the player. Not because the giant Miller Lord was fighting proficiously, but because the gas was inescapable. I'm so done with this actually troll pasta. There was literally no way to avoid being killed by it. As you can clearly see above, well not really, all the despair is too lazy to make edited pictures to go along with it. That is, unless you're like me and you have no life. I'll switch on the code for permanent sexiness. I'll let the melon lord chase me for a while when I was sexy. Just to get a good look at a thing. I stalked and killed it with my sexy touch, only when I saw a message that hadn't been there when I passed before. I slightly dislike you. That kind of creeped me out and gave me another heart attack. It rendered me catatonic for a few more days. Hey, if you've been doing nothing but playing this same game over and over again, anything could give you a heart attack. But on the other hand, it was kind of interesting because it meant that this was definitely a map that was supposed to exist. Not a glitch in the slightest or evil satanic spirit that coincidentally looks like a character for the normal gamer show. There was some sort of plot element here, something undiscovered. What did it mean? Who hated me? Father Ozai seen the obvious answer, cause his son was such a cunt. Oh wow. Or maybe just the tops. When you're in a hyper-realistic castle that you found by way of a haunted ship, but looking hate message, it's just so unbelievable. Also, the fact that Top is a massive troll anyway. I started again as I approached Sosuke Aizen. I was thankful that the non-playing tops ended at this point, because the more I watched them wander around, not knowing what to do with their newfound powers, the uneasy I felt, almost empathetic toward them, etc. The thankfulness ended when I turned my back on the Aizen and this happened. Aizen looked directly at me and said, "Just as planned." This made me shit myself. Everything in the universe is part of the Aizen's plan. Even getting his ass kicked by Ichigo is part of his plan. Was he planning on me playing this game for over a decade since before I was born? Could Isaac actually be the Illuminati? And yes, of course, I'm going to address the message you saw in the non-existent picture. How did it get burned? How did it get burned? I don't know how. Am I supposed to? Who's asking? I let the ice didn't touch me. And hey, died like the Melon Lord, of which I had killed too. Despite any attempt to scare the player, I knew that being sexy meant sexy no matter what they threw at me. The hell was that? I thought I heard something at the door. Hold on. I don't know, I just heard something. After a while running down this strange open claustrophobic corridor with no more eventful happenings, I came to a room with an exit pipe. Taking the pipe downward, I came out the other end and dropped into a room filled with, you guessed it, semen! The semen made sense. This being another Matter 666, Makuta Exaggerate 727, Avatar Troll Pasta or Avapasta, and all like, comment, subscribe. Wait, is this I Hate You Creepypasta? Because it's like similar. I was rewarded for my troubles with a question mark block that released the magic mushroom for me. I could have easily done this with a cheat code, but the thought had escaped me as I faced all these old and new and strange and normal sights. The first creatures I encountered on the seaman portion of the castle were Michikatunichi. Unless you've been living under a rock since forever, you know that the Michikatunichi are. So, I'm not even going to bother describing them to you. Well, this Michiko Tanichi lined up in a tight row, dropped acid poop repeatedly and randomly with no real trigger or any sense of logic. They would just wait or drop whenever they seemed to feel like it. Oh my god. Jesus, where am I? It also looked like these Michikita Tanichi have been very successful in Michikita Tanichi. More hyper-realistic seamen. This was getting pretty unusual for the Avatar The Last Airbender franchise, which I hadn't recalled seeing seamen in it all, or one of the main protagonists from Bleach for that matter. Now I've seen it everywhere, and these perpetually smashing, grinding Michika Tanichi, who are raping the victims, who, into pulp, forever and ever and ever and ever. Never. In the hampering effects of the semen, or what's lower under these things. The fuck? Making sure every single one touched me and died. More! There were almost 30 million of them in a row. I know because I counted because as previously stated, I have no life. Sad. The sight of them honestly crushing over and over again just made me hate them with the uncertain intensity of periodic table proportions. What's worse is that the semen caused Aang to slide as if he were on an ice level. Isn't semen supposed to be sticky? I don't know, you told me. After walking through that gauntlet of depravity, filled with the ultimatum of transcendent despair, burning fearlessly like the dark dank and animosity of the ages until the end of all things in this inferior world that truly make us at one with ourselves. Sorry. Oh my god. I swam into a more upper area that was filled with dildos on the floor and ceiling. If you're reading my other stories, you should have seen this one coming at least 20 million miles away. It was difficult to fap in this manner without touching dildos, but since I was still sexy, I didn't think much of it. I avoided them more of the lulls than out of any sense. I'd be damaged. It stopped being lulzy really fast though. Now I knew some of what was going on. The bloody mess the Michika Tanichi were unendingly spattering equals other Angs. Past Angs that had tried to traverse this gauntlet of purple prose and failed. I have to admit this was an excellent touch. Even if it was a bit stupid, why would the Avatar die a million times to the same thing? Whoever had designed the map actually broke the trans-dimensional rift and showed you the bloated, motionless abortions of the player's own ceaseless discharge. The seizure of brutality and the tiny, meaningless, dark, dank pity of depravity sucking on the breast of despair that was Aang's life. Oh my Jesus. Oh my god. The bodies only floated straight up and down a tiny bit, as if to show the effects of a light current or on again, off again erections. It was genius, and I couldn't believe I might be the first and only person to ever see this, because I broke the game from overuse. I toyed with the idea of taking more than the one non-existent screenshot I just presented to you. Basically, so all of you reading this could enjoy fapping to the secret map as much as I had. Especially the sweet little touch of boobs and tough and Azula fanfics. But without swimming, without kicking or moving in any way, the dead avatars started to come at me like torpedoes. Their feces remain black and blue, yellow, pink, whatever, and dead. But they move with astounding speed. My god. Dang on that precision and worked all sorts of unique sex positions, missionary, doggy style, etc. That left me almost nowhere to come. They continued coming at me and swarming and backing up to try again. And I just couldn't bring myself to let them touch me, even though I used the permanent sexiness cheat, which according to this bollocks translates to visibility, which basically means that zombies would die if they touched me. But I've been playing this game for so long I'm actually convinced the characters are real, so shut up. I'm moving more speed and skill than I ever exerted, frantically trying to keep Aang free of the physic rapists that seemed dead set on rocking it straight into his anus. When I finally reached the purple people eater you don't see above, there had to be like 10 million of those things right behind, pitching, turning, and trying to rape me. Ugh. I entered the purple people eater as fast as I could, thankful that it worked properly and had Aang out of that situation in a heartbeat. The corner that followed was empty. Thankfully, it was just a red and black hyperrealistic hallway of death with nothing to avoid or kill. It was boring and predictable like the game had been all these years, so I decided to turn it off and nope, still going! At the end of the hallway, I came to a standard pair of tits to enter to face the final boss. Besides the doorway, a bong filled with crystal meth. I didn't touch that shit, so it's pointless me even mentioning it since you'll never find out what it does. Going through the door was as you expected. The typical change of map views occurred, and Aang was standing on the ubiquitous accessibility bridge over boiling semen. What had been milk all along? Burn, burn, burn. No, nothing. When Aang walked out on the bridge, however, there was no boss creature. Instead, Aang immediately looked to the side and froze. I couldn't control him anymore. He just stood there. That's never happening in a game of Creepypasta, right? Yeah, that's totally originally scary. Good job, brain. Keep looking till you see it. I didn't even see it first, so I don't expect you to notice it right away. If you still haven't spotted the thing, look in the third window right now. FYI, that's not usually there. There's this scary thing right there. It doesn't do anything really. It's just creepy. Right there. Just right there. Keep looking. You spot it eventually. Just right there. Do you see it? Can you see it? Shut the fuck up and continue with the story, said Aang. Aang seemed to regain his composure and looked back and forth slowly, surveying the room. There was still no boss, and I still couldn't control him. So I stopped trying and just watch. This went on and on for what seemed like forever. Nothing happened. So I turned on the game. Just shut up! That joke wasn't funny the first time you did, and it won't be now. The familiar face walked in the right, dressed in blue, angry. It was Nicolas Cage. Angry calling horror. It's difficult to say that without thinking of how stupid it sounds, but angry and real back with a sort of terror that's uncharacteristic for such a peepee, happy-go-lucky kid like him. The kid spoke. Did you think that Ozem worked alone? Well, no, not really. He had his psycho bitch thought that an entire army of firebenders. It was all connected now. The message was on the walls. I slightly dislike it and how did you get bored? Nicolas Cage. He's always been a second banana. Play to it. The one who doesn't get that sweet guitar booty. These early games. No matter how identical he is to Aang's skill set and ability and tenaciousness and bravery, at the end of the day, the game is super Aang biased, and he's just the brother. The fuck? What the hell is this? What the fuck is this? Aang and Nicolas Cage never have and never will be a team. Don't you question my method, Zuzu? Trust me, people love this story. The me and those guys will rule the creepypasta community as husband and wife. When I really since I'm married to Ty Lee, but whatever. How must it end Aang? who among us would? Think about it. No matter what happens, Aang always comes back. No matter how many corpses he leaves later in the battle, he's always there once more to leap and cheer and get all the adoration. And so is Nicolas Cage. He is the Luigi of the story, right? And the Saiyan worked alone. I didn't know what that meant at first. Holy shit. If anything, but again, you just have to think it through. How exactly does Philo Osai consistently succeed in trolling the other nations? From day one, from the original Iron Brothers onward, it's always been an inside job, just like 9/11. Holy shit. Still unable to control the character. I watched Aang simply shit himself in fear as Case leaped gracefully into the air as high as he could in Anna Sharma as the last Airbender, the bastard child of the franchise. He jumped to the pathetic, poop-ridden Aang again and again and again. I was powerless to stop it, even though I could just shut the game off, but I'm just up like that. When it was done, he seemed to look at Aang's limp body with his awe and cageness. Then the bridge started to disappear. Soon, Aang would be dead. As I looked on, I had an irrational thought. How did Aang get burned? Within an actual instant, as Cage turned to seemingly strike a Ginyu Force pose, like a beat in a level, and awkwardly got to his feet and took him by surprise. Flapping his sexiness and constipation had given away to anger. But Aang overpowered his bro with little effort. To this day, I'm still aroused by the final result of his rifle. This sort of conglomeration of instantaneous despair, depravity, and reprisal. My feet still hurt and the death still sure that it exceeded. No, not the semen! Not the semen! Ah! Oh, it's your eyes! My eyes! Ah! Ah! There was the map level's title. None of this was an itch. None of it was a mistake. It wasn't developed again back at Nintendo, and it wasn't a ghost hiding a Nintendo cartridge. It was a purposeful part of Edison's plan. It could beat the same dick X number of times. A secret part of the universe opened, and you learned that from Aang Brothers to Aangland. Nicolas Cage has secretly been working against you and was in fact facilitating the repeated abduction and abuse of Katara, Toph, and others. But why? Money, power? No, it was all there because it couldn't take not being the one in the spotlight, not being Aang himself. After Cage died, well and truly decided, Aang just sat on the edge on the bridge. In fact, I was forced to watch this for minutes on end before the screen faded to black. I played the rest of the game to see if anything changed. Nothing else odd happened apart from all the hyper-realistic blood and the beast version of a mascot. And that was a lot as a playable character, as one would expect since this whole ordeal was just supposed to be part of Isaac's plan. I couldn't access the butthole again. I seen the events once, and that was all I was apparently allowed. Then again, why would I want to? The level itself was fucking boring. 3 hours of just running and ride with nothing that can kill you. No thanks. It was back to the game as usual. The same exact thing I played since the 90s. And will probably continue to play for the rest of my days because I have no life. Well, I was this thing except for the final image, which you never see anyway, so shut up! Oh wow. Holy shit, that's a lot of images. Oh my god. My god! Alright. Let's read it fast. And I'm gonna end this stream for almost like an hour and a half. So I'm gonna hear this up. Metroid Mother? Hold on. Oh, hold on. I was just throwing in bubblegum, sorry. 1. Intro and Brinstar. I still got a box in the attic. I think it's from an old air conditioner that's just about full of game consoles. controllers, joysticks, a zapper, a tank octopus of wires and adapters, and several Sega Genesis and Nintendo tapes. I always hated when kids would call them tapes. I'm not sure why I keep them. I haven't played it for a while, but it seems a shame to just throw them away. Maybe I'll give them all to a niece or a nephew, or perhaps a friend's children, but maybe not all of them. The last game I played any 8-bit games on a physical console. I mostly play emulators lately. It was a few years ago. I'm 28 now, and living with my boyfriend for 4 years. He plays a lot of Xbox and PlayStation, Call of Duty, GTA, stuff like that, and he teases me for not playing anything newer than N64, also for being a Nintendo fangirl, since I'm so unfamiliar with titles on the PlayStation, Dreamcast, Xbox, let alone the Atari, which I never even owned. I don't know, I just can't get into more recent games, and I grew up with Nintendo. Maybe I'll just be nostalgic. Nostalgic indeed. I remember that the last NES cartridge I played was the original Metroid. I always liked that game, even though I was never really great at it. It was a huge maze, and I would just get lost or carried away exploring. I've seen my brother beat it before, and I beat Super Metroid, but on the original, I most likely wandering around the labyrinth thing, hallways and corridors. It was interesting, if not very stellar graphics and great sound for such an old game. And if you're only familiar with the newer 3D Metroid titles, you should totally check it out. Anyways, like I said, Metroid was the last NES card I played before I put this system into storage. I was playing alone as my boyfriend at the walk that afternoon. He had dropped me off back at the apartment, having driven me to and from a medical procedure that had been performed under general anesthesia. The hell's anesthesia? I'll look it up soon. He could only get the morning off from work, but that was fine as I was pretty out of it from the sleeping gas. I only planned to lie around and be a lump anyway. Tired as I was after getting home from the clinic, I really didn't feel like sleeping for fear that I'd been awake all night. So I shambled from the sofa, squatted in front of the TV, pooped, popped the oddly shaped hunk of gray plastic in front of my Nintendo, a sizzling large and oddly shaped hunk of gray plastic, and turned the console on. The game started out nicely as usual. I pride myself on keeping my games in their black release sleeves and original boxes. I pressed the start button and began a new game quickly, before too much of the opening thing could play. That music used to kind of give me the creeps, which I suppose was the intended purpose. And as a fully grown adult, I'm not ashamed to say that it still does. I watched Samus materialize as a iconic fanfare played. Then began my adventure playing Zebith or Zebis, depending on which game you're playing. Whatever. And anyone who has played a hard copy of Metroid probably won't be surprised to read that the game was experiencing some graphical glitches. It's pretty typical, and probably gets worse as the circuit board ages. In any case, I didn't find it odd that some of the color palettes were sporadically abnormal. Sparks were a little not shaky or pixely, or that four wall blocks were incorrect. I made my way through the first area of the game called Brinstar, which has pretty kick-ass music, making Samus run and jump and shoot her arm cannon at all the players' indigenous creatures, many of which hadn't done anything to a variant being blasted to bits. But hey, that's the name of the game. As I continued exploring the halls and cabins to collect the items, I did note that the game seemed to be glitching out more than usual. Just graphically, though, the sound was fine and the game was running quite smoothly. There was a notebook next to me on the sofa where I was sitting, and I decided that I would attempt to make notes as I played through the game, still being half sedated. I wanted to make sure I didn't get too lost or unknowingly retreat my steps. I scribbled out some rudimentary maps as I played, making notes about items I find out. Soon I will also begin making notes of the on-screen glitches that kept appearing, as I had never seen the game be quite this screwy before, and I wasn't sure if I would again. It is from these sketches and notes that a friend of mine recreated a screenshot that accompanied this text. Number 2. Create. After a bit of exploring and item gathering, I made a decision to go to the first mini-boss where Craig lives. Something that I found sort of freaky was a room containing the elevator to Craig's lair. The far wall has a menacing looking gargoyle statue. However, when I got to the room, its lower jaw was reversed, like facing the wrong way. Also, I was pretty sure that the statue normally had a color in its eyes, but it just had black empty sockets. It was actually a bit unnerving, especially coupled with the music playing. It's the same tune that plays in the rooms containing Samus's upgrades, basically some dissonant bleeps and blips. Just, I don't know, creepy. So I'm wandering through the hideout, trying to track down as many upgrades and power-ups as I can without accidentally going to fight Quid before I get ready to. As I don't exactly know my way around, I managed to get an energy tank after finding a tunnel in the wall of a room. I remember feeling stupidly proud of myself at this point. I must have been quite a sight, sitting in the dark in the grungy grey sweatpants, Afghan wrapped around my shoulders, grinning stupidly at an increasingly glitched out NES game. But this time the game was seriously screwing up, like in ways that I haven't seen before. Some of the enemies were starting to like stretch out and look almost melty, if that's a word. At this point, I found it more strange than creepy. I was honestly more considered that the glitches were going to culminate in the game freezing before I got past with anything. I was already playing fairly well for someone who not 2 hours prior had been dead to the world and Anesthesia. I really didn't want the game or the Nintendo to crap out while I was a roll like this. With bated breath, I continued through the corridors, grabbing some more missiles while trying to avoid falling to the acid beneath me. Blasting through red doors, I began finding my way down towards the boss battle room. Eventually, I found the spot to replenish my energy and missiles just before trying to battle Kraid. Once I felt I was beefed up enough to take it on the boss, I went and started pumping missiles into the hapless turtle alligator dragon discount Bowser thing. After I landed a few hits and took a little damage, great sprites started to pixel and fuzz out. I was getting pissed thinking my game was going to freeze, but it kept going. I nailed the boss a few more times, and his face kept looking more and more effed up until it flashed a few times, and then his sprite turned red. Like it got stuck on something until the color palette. There was something I'd never seen. I mean, I seen some of the enemies flash and turn different colors, but I never heard of it happening to the mini bosses. Regardless, I continued to bomb and missile the crap out of my enemy. Suddenly, the sprite changed, the screen froze up, and the weapon get jingle played. I was again afraid that the game would stop working, but it continued, and things got weirder. The red crate didn't blow up like normal. Instead, the sprite appeared to be stuck in place, crudely holding its own head. It was at this point that I began to wonder if all after effects of the anesthetics were causing me to hallucinate or see things. Oh my god. All I got put under for surgery once before, when I got my vision teeth out, and I don't remember having any virtual hallucinations after that. Number 3, Norfair. I paused the game and hobbled over to the bathroom to pee. Afterwards, I splashed some cold water on my face to help me wake up and stay alert so I could keep playing the increasingly glitchy game. Back to being a couch potato, I looked over some of the notes I took and added a few about the crate battle so I didn't forget about it. It was time to send my bounty huntress into the fires of Norfair. It was around this point in the game that I used to start having trouble as a kid. I would tend to get lost and windy up dying a bunch, but I was hoping that my maps and note taking would allow me to get further than I used to. I was backtracked through Craig's hideout without getting lost and found my way to Norfair. For several minutes, the game seemed to be behaving. That is, the graphical glitches were gone. I felt a bit of relief about this. I spent some time gathering power-ups in Bridgestone before heading down to Bloodley Soterian Caverns. I managed to get the various suit in my travels, giving me some more confidence, knowing I need all the help I could get in Norfair. Down the elevator I went. I noticed at this point that the graphics started going haywire again. I tried to make note of as many glitches as I could while attempting to not get my ass handed to me by space critters and lava city mohawk dragon thingies. If you play the game, you know what I'm talking about. It was getting harder to concentrate on the screen though. There were some horizontal lines flashing on and off, as well as nondescript shapes flickering. I kept falling into the lava, but I was able to keep my health up until I got the screw attack, which was a godsend. However, after I shot the orb containing the screw attack upgrade, the S bar was flickering between the correct image and what I'm sure was like the upper half of Samus' torso, but it was the Justin Belichick Samus without the power suit. That coupled game with the upgrade room music got me once more feeling a little unnerved. Playing Metro alone without the lights on is creepy enough when it's running smoothly. Behind the lined curtains, the lazy autumn sun had taken its early leave, and I was playing it in the dark, but I was too groggy to get up and turn the light on. Also, at this point, I was worried that if I were to get up and jiggle the controller right at all, that the enemies might freeze. So I played on the collecting power-ups in Norfair on the way to Ridley's hideout. Things were seeming easy with the screw attack and the ice beam, but I was still wondering around a lot. Trying to find the hidden passages, I needed to navigate in order to locate all the upgrades I was going to require. The game's graphical glitches were becoming more and more bizarre. Lots of the bubble and egg or oven tiles were becoming common where they shouldn't have been, and the color palettes were looking increasingly organic. Resembling living tissue more than I remembered. It was a slow go through the rest of the lava-filled landscape, and the droning music made me trek seemed to take even longer than it was. I finally made it to the elevator, which descends to Ridley's lair. The elevator room were especially glitched up, with mismatches, details, and colors what I didn't expect to see, and I don't remember ever seeing before, was a large bubble tile containing what seemed to be a purple-ish tadpole-type creature. The tile was also coolly animated, something else I didn't even remember seeing it ever before in this game. Also, when I pushed down over the elevator shaft, Samus appeared to crouch down for several seconds before the platform began to descend. I was later told that the crouchy Samus sprite was actually used in game, but not when operating it in the elevator. Number 4. Righty. Wait, how long is this one? What to there? Oh my fucking god. It's gonna be a long reading. Down the second minibus hideout, the level of glitching escalated. I was actually quite proud of myself for playing as well as I was while coping with the disadvantages of being woozy. And playing a game with well composed graphics, however, some of the glitches that allowed me to see hidden passages I could morph off of. So, at one point, some of the enemy sprites began to get at melted look again, and would blow up with one or two hits. Even though I was still using the ice beam, I was going to through a room looking for power-ups. When I saw something especially unexpected, it was the crate sprite, the discolored one that appears in the first hideout before it gets to the real crate. It was a weird brown and light blue color scheme. The sprite also seemed to have one of the tadpole bubble things around its midsection. It all looked almost like it was holding in against its body. Armored missiles, but a fake Cray was just kind of frozen there, and it wasn't posing any threat. Also, I felt that for whatever reason, it didn't seem right to just kill it. The colors in the hideout were more messed up than any of the other areas. I remember making note of a specific area where there were discolored tiles with the curved spikes hanging down like in the boss battle rooms. The tiles had formed a little enclosed area, and within that space was a Metroid. Even I knew that the Metroids didn't start showing up until we went to the area right before Mother Brain. The Metro was flickering and jittering violently in its little prison, but I could tell that there was something else odd about it. Like the colors were exactly right, but there was something more than that. It looked like it had one of the type of things, something similar within it. It honestly disturbed me a bit. I continued to try and make my way to Riley. Less concerned now was finding all the power-ups I could. I kind of just wanted to get out of that boss hideout in Norfair, so I rushed through the remaining caverns until I got to the room continually. Surprisingly, this room wasn't very glitchy at first. I distinctly remember that the lava was replaced with the hanging bubble things from Norfair, the inverted, so they were pointing up. As I pumped missiles into Relay, particularly, the graphics began to flicker and glitch. It made it more difficult to battle the gigantic monster I remember my brother beating relatively easily. Just like Cray before him, the more I damaged the minibites, the more strange his ride became. His neck kind of stretched out from his body, and his wings were decaying and mirroring very quickly. He kept jumping up and down as his head glitched out until it stabilized, upside down from its normal positioning. He's erect, hopping continued as I fought him, but after several shots from my missiles, he stopped hurling fireballs. He was no longer attacking. I kept shooting him, but I felt almost badly about it, like I did with the fake ray. It sounds stupid, but it felt almost like he had, I don't know, given up. I eventually did defeat him, and his sprite exploded like normal, except usually when he kills something in the game, the sprite divides and blows up into little bits that disappear. But the chunks into the which randomly exploded didn't disappear or fall off the screen. They just landed on the platform and stayed there. Not violent or anything, but it was just strange to actually see the bits of carcass left behind. It made the death seem more real, or at least less inquidential. I'm taking my missiles from winning the fight and proceeded to find my way back out of the hideout. I got through the level fairly easily with the help of my clearly drawn maps, and I felt relieved at the thought of being out of there when I found the elevator back up. But when I began to descend, the game surprised me once more. It rose midway up, the elevator and the screen flickered in such a way that I couldn't adjust my eyes correctly. But I know that I once again saw the adjusting building Samus, but it shouldn't have been. The sprite was many times its normal size, appeared to be wider or fatter than usual, and top that off, didn't seem to be wearing clothes. I'm pretty sure don't remember that when I used it to watch my brother play, it only flashed on the screen for a few split seconds. So I'm only telling what I thought I saw. Number 5, Mother Brain. After the elevator incident, I was really wondering if I was seeing things. Maybe the doctors gave me some anesthesia I never had before. That would at least explain the weird shit that I kept seeing while playing the game. I was feeling pretty tired, but I really wanted to see if I could beat Metro for the first time, and I was really close. I followed my maps back up to Princeton. I regained health and missiles where I could. I hadn't stopped at the statue room after being cried, which is optional, I guess. So I didn't see if it was screwed up back then or it was nearly glitched up. But oh boy, was it something to see. Firstly, there were Metroids stuck in the walls and lava tiles, and they appeared to be in pain or seizing. When I shot the crate and relic statues, the path across the lava seemed to be made of random tiles. And most upsetting of all, the statues themselves were flashing and misshapen. The Ridley statue especially appeared really screwed up. It looked as though its mouth was agape, and its eye was red. I mothballed flew in great haste. The area before Mother Brain called Terrain in Super Metroid was a pretty big mess of bad tiles and messed up colors. I was doing my best to just freeze the Metroids that appeared, so as to save my missiles for the boss room. I remember seeing one in the elevator room gargoyle faces upside down in the floor at one point. I love some of the tube graphics from the Mother Brain home. Also, the Metro seemed to contain those little life forms like before. They were more like a human flesh color than the ones in the bubble tiles from earlier. I ran as fast as I could through the increasingly buggy corridors and escaped without getting killed by Metroids. I was finally at the final boss stage before outrunning the bump to escape. The game seemed to be getting more and more faded up the further I progressed, and I was glad it would be over soon. The music in Mother Brain's room is really nerve-wracking. It's not spooky creepy like some of the other music in the game, but it's really dissonant and tense, probably on purpose to make you nervous and screw up. I try my best to freeze the flame rings and that come from all directions and avoid damage from the turrets, which is just a cluster of enemy fire, and dealing with the wayward pixels and flickering images was making it rather difficult to keep from taking damage. I was able to blast through the test here, looking things that protect the last boss, Zepatites, I think they're called, and eventually get to the final screen containing the Mother Brain. Having never fought it before, I had a strategy and just tried to hurl as many missiles into her as I could. I took a fair amount of damage, but it didn't die at any point, which kinda surprised me. Like the other boss fights, the screen seemed to degrade into shapes, lines, colors, and pixels as I inflicted damage on the giant red organ. I was just about out of missiles when Mother Brain took her last hit. The screen began to flash, and Mother Brain's sprite broke away in blocks. I was excited, but I knew that I still had to escape the level before the whole place exploded. However, when the next pop up to tell me that the bomb was set, and I had to get out before the time reached zero, it was completely butchered. The music did not change, and the time did not count down. Instead, there appeared an airlock in the wall. Not sure what to do. I shot it and passed through. Number 6, Mother? I had never seen this part of the game before. I ran through a corridor surrounded by blackness like early in the game. There was no discernible music, just just the sound of the airlocks and Simon's footsteps. I ran through and opened the next airlock. Another corridor followed. This one graphically worse shape than the previous one. There were floating enemies in the blackness, and some random lava tiles in this room and the next. The following corridor had a broken area in the ceiling, but there must have been an invisible wall, since I couldn't jump through it. Yet another floating hallway. I was wondering what exactly was going on with the game, as I could tell this was obviously not supposed to be happening. This hall was walled by the bubble tiles. Sorry about that. And they were dark pink. I guess they were rock tiles floating, but they kind of reminded me of ground meat. The next quarter was more the same, except some of the floor and ceiling tiles were colored pink or light lavender, making me think of intestines or veins or something like that. The airlock was also fleshy pink hue. The following corridor will be the last in this line, where the blackness had been in the other hallways. The screen was started full of the dark metals. I will later joke with myself about this meatroid, but at that moment I was too creeped out to think of humor. I shut the next pink airlock and they went through. The door opened directly into the deep chasm, lined with the red tiles and gargoyle faces. The pit was also filled with missile pop-ups, some of which were flashing or glitching. I was able to pick up quite a few. There were sporadic platforms and ledges that I was able to land on, but I wasn't able to jump back up the pitfall for any of them, so I just continued my descent into darkness. I eventually fell to a floor made up of the inner looking tiles, with a fleshy airlock door in the ground. I bumped the door and dropped through the airlock. I came out on the other side in what appeared to be a copy of Mother Brain Room. However, there were no flame rings or fiber turrets assailing me, and the intense music was replaced with the upgraded elevator room music, which almost gave me goosebumps. The Zepatites were different, lighter in color, and more notably, they seemed to contain one of what I have thought of as tadpole creatures, but being a different color and in a space where I could get longer look at them. They appeared to look distinctly more like unborn babies, human fetuses. I was feeling cold, and my skin was clammy, like how you feel when you have a bad fever, not knowing what I actually to do. I found a missile at the pinkish test tube. The tube shattered, and the fellow creature fell out and disappeared through the floor. Doing this made my heart skip a beat. I jumped through the gap and saw another Zepatite. I really didn't want to, but I fired it. First with my ice beam, but the game but did nothing. I tried to jump through or around it, thinking that the game glitches might allow me to pass this part, but I had no luck. Eventually, I shot a missile at it. It blew apart like the other one. Feeling strangely guilty and dirty, I fired at the last incubating creature and saw that there was another mother brain at the end of the room. As I said, there were no enemies or projectiles in this area, and I just stood across from this other brain. Its color scheme was different, not the orangey bright red of the first mother brain. This one had more of a gray and pink tone to it as it pulsed. I fired a couple of missiles, hoping this would end the game quickly. Each shot made the screen flash, and the glitches worsened. And as I shot the large brain, it pulsed finally. It began to degenerate. After two missile hits, the screen was a mess of mismatched colors and tiles, and this mother brain appeared to ooze blood and fluid from wounds I was inflicting. It also seemed to have liquid, tears flowing from its eyes. I felt awfully for this creature, but still wanted to get the game over with as soon as I could. I fired one more missile, and the large brain faded away in blocks like the other mother brain, fearing another flesh airlock behind it. The airlock led into an upgrade room with a color palette that I didn't recognize from the rest of the game. They were normally gray or blue. This was crimson and bluish gray. Strangely, this area seemed as though it had no graphical illusion at all. The statue on the ledge was not holding an orb in its claws, but instead one of its the bubble egg tiles from Norfair. I jumped up and shot the oven, revealing what I can only describe as follows. It seemed to be a child, a newborn baby surrounded by a flashing aura. The babe was dripping in with pinkish fluid. It could only venture to guess it was placenta or amniotic fluid. The little one flashed for several seconds, and then the screen went to black. When the TV lineup again, it showed a deranged version of what I remembered to be the screen display when it beat the game. It had an almost space background. Oh, but the planet's surface was the color and texture of living tissue, of ground meat. There was a floating meteor with what looked like the newborn from the previous screen inside it. There was a large sideways head, displaying Samus without a helmet with black oozing from her eye sockets. In the center of the screen, when one no one sees Samus waving to the player in a power suit or bikini was an image of what I seen was Samus with her arm grotesquely stretched and her legs displaced. The image of Samus was also full nude and tenderly holding her hand to her belly, appearing to be pregnant. The text that players get explaining that they will have the galaxy was also glitched. And galaxy was, you will be their mother? I gazed at this for several moments as the opening title theme played before the game froze and the sound glitched. The screen went black and the NES seemed to reset itself. The normal title screen was replaced by a strange and bastardized version of itself. The mountainous landscape was replaced with the inner looking tiles. There was a large feeder sprite in the upper half of the screen, and the text that normally read Metroid now read Mother. After several moments, the Mother text flashed and strobe colors freezing on the screen, in which the letters instead read Y before restarting, and repeating this disturbing imagery. I slowly heaved myself to my feet, shuffled over and shut off the system, extinguishing the last of the light in the room, feeling freaked out, and generally unhappy about what I just experienced. I lay on the couch and then let the sleep I had been so friendly battling take me away. My boyfriend came home around 11 and kissed me, asking if I wanted to come to bed. I said no, I would just spend the rest of the night on the sofa. I didn't tell him what I'd been through or thought I'd been through, but I said when I woke up, it looked like I had been crying. I still don't know if what I saw actually happened or not. I like to think it was some sort of a hallucination. I put the Nintendo and the games away, and like I said, most of the play emulators now. Haven't really wanted to play Metroid since then if you can imagine that. One thing is the reason I was good that they have it under anesthesia being to the clinic. About 2 months prior to this event, I noticed that my period was late. Not just a day or two, more like a week, and when it did come, I was just spotting. I've been late before, but this time I was becoming concerned. I bought a home pregnancy kit and tested positive twice. Following that, I went to my doctor and was tested properly. It turned out that I was with child, only in the very early stages of pregnancy. I wasn't sick or showing at all. After a day or so, I told my boyfriend I could tell he was shocked, or at least unnerved. I had been on birth control, and although we were exclusive with one another, he often used condoms. We were always careful. I guess not careful enough. We happened to get along enough to the topics of marriage and children had come up a few times. We had both decided that neither of us was mature enough, nor financially stable enough to support any children at our current point in life. After a long discussion, we decided neither of us were at the point in our lives where we thought we could give enough attention to raising a newborn child. We were barely bringing in enough money to support ourselves on our own. Maybe we could have struggled through with a child, but neither of us had savings, nor were our jobs actual careers by any means. We weighed our options, and after some long discussions, made our decisions. We called it the closest branch of Planned Parenthood, talked over everything, and made an appointment to come in. All the events I described before, the strange occurrences or hallucinations I experienced while playing Macabre Metroid, it all took place on the day of my appointment. That day I was there at the clinic getting and having the pregnancy terminated. Well, I'm done. I'm done with all this. Yeah, I cleared it down because this creepypasta made me go. My jaw dropped. Jesus Christ, what kind of thing did I just watch? What did I just see? I mean, what? What the hell was that? Uh. Oh, I say. Jesus Christ. But anyways, I think I end it here. This was a weird creepypasta I've ever read. In my life. Try and read it for yourselves. I dare you. I mean, I don't dare you, but do it if you want to. I know. So, anyways, hope you enjoyed it. Click like if you enjoyed it. Comment on what I should do next, and subscribe for more videos. And share this video to Google Plus, Facebook, Twitter, and Tumblr. And I'll see you in the next live stream if I make one. Peace.